I'm on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean on the island of San Miguel in the Azores, in a very, very special town to me, because about, I would say, almost 90 years ago, maybe even 100, my great-grandfather grew up in this town over here. And I imagine at some point he walked down to this water and decided he was going to sail across it to his new life in America. And to be here looking at that same shore has really given this trip some meaning, some sense of purpose. It's quite astonishing to go somewhere that you know you came from. And unfortunately, this is my last stop. This is it for Europe this summer. I kind of ran out of money, and it just gets more and more expensive from here on out. And I'm disappointed about that. Even though I've had such a great trip, and usually if you go on vacation or whatever you do, whenever you have a great trip, there's a point you reach where you're like, yeah, I want to be home. I want to go home. And there's definitely a part of me that wants to go home, that wants to sleep in his own bed, that wants to take a shower in his own shower, that wants to open up a cabinet and just have food in there. Because that'd be awesome. A car. I miss my car, man. I really do. She misses me too. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I really miss my family. And yet there's a part of me that feels like I'm giving up on this trip. That I can go further and that I can do more. Maybe that's just ambition. Maybe my great-grandfather gave that to me. That ability to look out into the ocean and just say, yep, I can cross that. No problem. I've had the most wonderful time here in Europe. And to recap, I went to Oxford, England as my first stop, and I got to see a friend that I made in Melbourne, Australia. Hi, Tamara. And I knew Tamara for about a week, less than a week. And I remember my biggest regret about my Australia trip was not staying in Melbourne longer. So being able to go and to see her and to see her home and to really see England, you know, real England, not London, England, England. That was an experience that really stayed with me. It was something I didn't expect to like as much as I did. But I really loved it there. It was very beautiful and very, very interesting. And I did go to London, England. And I once again did see Nadia and Lottie. And I explored London's street markets, which if you don't know anything about London, that's the thing you need to know. Because I did not know anything about London food, and London food is amazing. I have no idea why, but the street markets in London are the coolest little thing that I've ever seen. Let's see what else. And London itself is beautiful. You've got all of its old buildings and all of its new buildings, and each one of them is unique and gorgeous in their own way. And then we went to Amsterdam, and I met up with Adriana there. And she wasn't the only person I met up with in Amsterdam. I saw Ben and Catherine. I saw Lulu and Derek and Leo and Max. And geez, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but I think that was everybody. And Amsterdam that's its own place. I don't think I'll ever go anywhere quite like Amsterdam. It was a lot of fun, especially meeting up with all those friends and bringing those people together that was something pretty cool. You know, or at least seeing them in Amsterdam, especially seeing the Dutch in Amsterdam. That's... Oh, and Megan, how could I forget? We had a wonderful day in the park with Megan and some guy who drove a bike into a canal. I don't know. And then I went to Utrecht, which is a smaller Dutch city, which was very, very worth it because it wasn't as touristy or as hustle bustle as Amsterdam, and I think that was a really good way to see the Netherlands. If you do go to the Netherlands, I think it is very much worth it to go somewhere other than Amsterdam. Rotterdam's probably nice. The Hague, the Hague, or however they say it. Utrecht was pretty cool. Anywhere really, you'll still get that Amsterdam vibe. You'll still see the canals. It'll still have that Dutch lifestyle, the bikes, all that stuff, but you won't have all that tourist crap that Amsterdam's kind of become. And from there we went to the German countryside, which is beautiful. I mean, you have these green mountains and you just kind of roll right around through them. And we stayed in this castle town called Heidelberg with Ben and Catherine. And Heidelberg was really interesting because it really felt medieval. I mean, the old town was very, very different from the new town, and it was in a separate area, and it made it really quite special and quite beautiful. And to be able to walk around and see a castle like that was pretty European, I gotta say. Pretty much what you expect when you go to Germany. From there, we made an unexpected trip to Switzerland, which I didn't think I was gonna do. But I'm glad I did, because not only did I meet 3 other great Americans and 1 Hungarian, hi Ben. I had an amazing time, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's breathtaking in the Alps. And we went up the Alps. I mean, I took like a little, I don't even know, some kind of little train thing, and it went straight up into the Alps. And we were up and out there. I mean, everywhere you looked was like, it looked like your desktop background because it was that pretty. And I met Heidi and Philip, I almost forgot Philip. I didn't forget your face, I forgot your name. Give me a break. And Elizabeth, who's half British and half American. And Philip's from Miami, but he likes jazz music, so he's cool. And Heidi is like the closest thing I'll ever meet to a professional hiker. And then Ben, who is quite the interesting character himself. And we had such a great time with them. We really did. And we spent Memorial Day and had a cookout with them. So that was really special. From there, we took the longest journey I think I've ever had. I think it was 13 hours in total. I think it ended up probably being a little bit more than that. 13, 14, maybe 15 hours total. That was exhausting, and we just kept on train hopping the whole time, not buying tickets as much as possible. Running out of battery, so I'll wrap it up. But I got to see my parents in Florence, and we explored the city on Free Museum Day with them, which was awesome because we got to go into all the beautiful art museums and see all the cool art and not pay a dime for it. And Florence is really remarkable. It's just beautiful. It doesn't smell the best at all the times, but from everywhere you walk in Florence, it just looks pretty. And Odomo is, I don't pronounce that wrong, but that is so cool. I really liked that. From there, we took a day trip to Venice, which is super touristy. I mean, it's the most touristy place I went, but it's still worth it because I always wanted to go there, and I gotta say, it didn't disappoint. It was a city on water. It was an island city, no doubt, no question about it. And then I went to Rome. Come on, Rome. That was my dream for so long in life. I wanted to go to Rome, and to be able to see one of the greatest civilizations on Earth, to see it, to really be there, it took my breath away. It really did. I know I say things like breathtaking and awesome all the time, but this one was special for me because it was something I wanted to see my whole life. My whole life I wanted to see Roman Forum. My whole life I wanted to see the Colosseum. And to be able to see them, I was impressed. To see something like that, so old yet so impressive, there's nothing like it. From there, I went to Pompeii, which again, nothing like Pompeii. It's massive. I think I had a whole little video on that, so you can check that out. Pompeii was cool. And I did the Amalfi Coast in Sorrento, which my parents recommended, and they were right. It was a bit trying day. It took a lot, but it was worth it in the end. From there, I went to Athens, which I didn't think Athens was. Athens isn't supposed to be as nice as I did it, and I stayed in a really nice part of Athens, so that ended up being a good time too. And I met a friend there, Frank. Frank was hilarious. He was like the most American in the history of America. And from there, I went to Santorini, which was not what I expected. It's really, really rocky there, but very pretty. And then from Santorini, where I partied a lot, I went to Eos, where I partied even more with some really, really cool people. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Hold on. Kristen, Kelly, Ryan, and Ellie. I don't know why that slipped my mind. It wasn't even, I don't know, it must have been 2 weeks ago. I didn't forget, it's listen, I loved them. They were so much fun. We had the most fun together. And Ashley, also I met Ashley and her friend, who I only knew as Don't Tell Summer because I think she told her name to me once and I completely forgot it and I feel really bad about that. But actually, Ashley Ketchadorian, Ryan Bailey, and Kelly, Go With Kelly, those are all YouTubers and they all have awesome channels, and I all wish that my channel was like as half as, well, like a quarter, relatively like theirs, because theirs are really great and really well done, and mine is not. Mine is really just pretty crappy, pretty low budget. I'm the Walmart of blogging. No, I'm the Kmart of blogging. That's how bad I am compared to these kids. I mean, it's like walking into Sears or like Macy's department store in New York. These guys know what they're doing. Definitely check them out. I'll try to link it in the description below, but they're really good. I definitely recommend them if you're interested in travel, or if you like to laugh, or if you just like watching travel blogs. These guys are the best. And we had a lot of fun with them. A lot of fun. I can't stress that enough. I got very drunk. Oh my god, there's people behind me. I don't know what they're coming here for. No, you just... Really? Okay. We'll roll with it. Where did I go? Eos to Madrid, where I walked around Madrid, and... oh yeah, Julia joined us in Florence, by the way. Forgot to mention that. And Julia's family is in Madrid, and they were wonderful enough to give us a free Airbnb. I mean, come on. Really? Interrupting. Rude. Anyways, Julia's cousins gave us a free Airbnb stay, so that was sweet. And we were right in the middle of Madrid, and they were celebrating Pride Week, which isn't a protest, apparently. It's like a holiday, and it was a poppin' holiday. And I may have gotten hit on a couple times by some guys. That might have happened, but it was all in good cheer, right? Good holiday fun. No worries. And from there I went to Lisboa, Portugal, which was awesome because, you know, I'm Portuguese, so being able to see Portugal was cool. And I think if you do plan a Euro trip, throw Portugal in there. You might not like it, you might not think you'll like it, but it remains the most authentic of the countries I went to. It's still... It has tourism. I think it's their third largest industry, but it doesn't take over. You know, you don't go and you feel like, oh, this is so touristy. You never feel that way in Portugal. It feels really, really authentic, and the Portuguese are very, very welcoming, and they're very, very lively people. So being around them is infectious, you know. They kind of just go on with their daily lives, and, you know, they don't mind you at all. You know, they don't make it feel like they need you, but they don't feel like they don't mind you at all, and they're not rude. They're very, very nice. They like foreigners generally. They're very welcoming. And I think it's just Portuguese to be hospitable. So the hospitality was great there. And Lisbon is really pretty. It really is. So if you're definitely doing a trip to Europe, throw Portugal in there. I really recommend it. It's going to be your surprising favorite destination. And that was my trip. I wish it was longer, but sadly it ends here in the village of my great-grandfather. Every beginning is an ending, and every ending is a beginning, I suppose. I remember him telling the story of him coming to America. He first came to America, he didn't speak any English, and he worked in the factories. I think he worked in like a light bulb factory. And his first week, he was alone, like stacking light bulbs, and he fell. Oh, we got an intruder. Okay, that's all right. And she's staring at me. Oh, yeah, there they are. Yeah. Just telling a story about my great dead. Now they got me messing up my words. It's okay. We'll roll him still. Where was I? Oh yeah, his first week, his boss caught him because he fell and crashed like a ton of the lights. Didn't speak a word of English, and his boss was yelling at him in English, and he didn't understand. And he went from that to eventually owning a bar in southern Massachusetts. I forget where. And he owned it for some time, and it was really good. And then one day the mob came by and made him pay up, and he refused to do it. So they ended up burning down his bar, which is a crazy, crazy story for me. He had a lot of stories to tell, even for a guy who lived to be over 100 years old. He could really tell a tale. Which reminds me, if he was, I think he lived to be 110, over 110, and he must have died 10 years ago, and I think he left here when he was 18. So that makes me the first Pereira, or the first descendant of Manuel Pereira, to return here in over 100 years. Did I say that already? I may have said that already, but it's really, really cool to be the first one to return here in 100 years. Hell of a way to end the trip. Hell of a way to end the trip. So much fun traveling. And I think the crazy thing about traveling is how easy it is. You think it's going to be hard, and you think it's going to be this and this, but it's really not. It's not nearly as hard as people think it is. It's not nearly as insane or as crazy as people think it is. Once you get out here, you realize the truth about adventure, that it doesn't start when you start, and it doesn't end when you end. It's always going. It's continuous. You sort of just hop on and hop off at your own disposal. And that's what it feels like. You just hop on the ride, and boy, does it take you for a spin. Well, I think we're going to end it on that. Thank you guys for following along. I hope to travel more. Well, between you and me, I probably will. And I hope you like these. I really like doing them, so hopefully I get better at them. I'm pretty terrible at that. I know that, guys, and I apologize, but I really like doing them, and I hope you guys like watching them. So until the next trip, this is Quinn signing off.